except we had a Reyna on the side of Sentinels and a Raze on the side of G2. Now, I think these represent what these two teams are happy with. The thing I'm going to be looking at is keloqz has shown improvement since that game. It's really him and his performance that's going to matter more to me than changing agents, so to speak.
Honestly, my eyes, I know I mentioned it earlier, but my eyes are on Nukia, right? Like, he played well on ICEBOX. He had excellent first contact stats across the board. He played really well. He was applying pressure in the right places at the right time on the Raze specifically, so you almost need to have a similar performance there.
Well, and that's perhaps, as we mentioned, maybe the one agent change you look for is instead of splitting the duelists, Reyna on one side and Raze on the other, maybe you do just go toe-to-toe with tenz. And you say, look, whichever one of us is having the better day is going to take the win.
That's not going to happen.
Never mind.
They disagree. He's going to go into Raze.
Well, hey, it worked last time, right? So I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I don't see this this really changing here. I mean, keloqz is definitely going to play Jet. He could absolutely pull out something crazy, but no, it's going to be those same compositions.
There it is. So we get the run back here. We get the run back here on ICEBOX, Doug. It was, I'll remind people, a 13-8 last time around. The real question lies in what has Shaz figured out in those VOD reviews?
What has Shaz figured out, and what can G2 do as far as momentum? Right now, like, I think momentum's where it's at. Momentum's key. What happens if you play a world when this is a big ask, right? Because that assumes that Shaz can't download it in time. But what happens if you find yourself in a world where your hits are so fast and so aggressive and so hard, you know you're going to lose a couple, but you're hitting them so hard and so fast that there's just not enough time to download?
One thing that I would like to see is Sentinels just improve the way they deal with the flanks that G2 did. Dapper's flank watch was great, but then G2 would send a lot of reinforcements, and that would catch them out quite a bit.
All right, G2, they're taking a map. Can they get two? Either way, it's got to start here on ICEBOX. Looking to take down the Titans in Sentinels. From here, we're going up to Mitch and Tom for the call.
Thank you so much, guys. Wow, am I excited to kick this one off, Tom.
Hell yeah.
This is set to be an exciting series, a rematch, of course, and you may bet your ass this is the game that these guys have been looking forward to all tournament long.
This is the game I've been looking forward to all tournament long. We got to watch it the first time, and I was like, are we going to see G2 match up? Because that's always going to be the question when we see Sentinels. I know you've got the pink in your hair because you love Sentinels, Mitch. Like, they're your favorite team.
On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
People are saying it looks a little bit red, but yeah.
Wow.
This is the squad that basically everybody is looking to beat. G2, they did relatively well last time. Now we get to see if they can maybe go a little further.
Yeah, as much as we love to sell the EUNA rivalry, we love to participate in the jokes. We love both of these teams. Watching Sentinels is always a pleasure, but Tom, now we get to cast them. And here on the defensive side of ICEBOX, they look to take down G2. It was a tough series last time around, but so far, they maintain that unbeatable record when it comes to international events.
Yeah, they did lose a map. It was this one last time. I think that was the one thing that we have to put out there is that if G2 are going to have a chance in this series, I think they need to take this map, and they've got off to a decent start. They've managed to take down Dapper. A couple of players already rotated in. It's early in the day. But they're going to get themselves the after plant, and more importantly, the wall has kept them safe.
The players have had their warm-ups, you can see that.
Yeah, I need one too.
But surely, this is where Sentinels start to mount that jump back quite quickly into the site. Sick, wanting to move through the wall. Doesn't want to overextend. Nukia already picking up Shazam. This becomes so difficult for Sentinels to hold on.
Hey.
G2 just keep on coming. With only one player taken down, this pistol is so close to flawless to kick off ICEBOX.
Yeah, really solid start for G2. I think that's always going to be important, especially when we talk about keloqz as an individual player. Like, he's someone that thrives off of these battles in the early stages. If he can get rolling, maybe we can see a battle where he actually puts himself to the forefront of this team, because that's the main thing. Like, when we look towards someone like tenz, well, I think he's currently the second highest rated player in the entire tournament. I think he's had the best map so far in the entire tournament. So we have to go and say that we expect tenz to show up throughout this series. keloqz has always been a question mark. Now, he's had a good tournament so far. Had some really solid matches, but he needs to be on his best form here today if they're going to compete.
Yeah, there's no room for error. There's no room to be a little bit more relaxed. For G2, they need every single player to show up, and it does definitely start by looking at that head-to-head between keloqz and tenz, or Shazam, considering the last time we saw Sentinels play, he has a couple of good maps as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's some unbelievable stats. And I think, especially when you look at the defensive side of this map in particular, that A site basically comes down to the tenz and Shazam show. These aggressive pushes, these battles deep into A. And that's why you're going to see these slower rounds out from G2. These defaults held to make sure that they're not losing too much map control. And in fact, in this one, Sentinels have actually gambled into the A site. And unfortunately for them, G2 are going B.
Yeah, G2 are going to get a nice open site to walk on into. Should be nice and clean and getting the plant down and retaking him with classics and your odd sheriff. Won't exactly be ideal, but you don't want to discount tenz. And winning the round is not what Sentinels are looking for. Obviously, they'll take it if it comes their way, but for the most part, they're looking to do damage and drop weapons. Now, G2 have Nuki watching the flank with a pistol in hand. Him going down would be the biggest of deals. He's got Coldamenta here to help him, just to make sure that they don't give away any unnecessary advantages. Great nade, Satchel to pursue as well. But you don't want to get too aggressive here, Tom. That could play right into the hands of the Pistons, who are now right below him. Luckily, Nuke is able to deal with that. And the important thing for me, looking at that situation, is not just that G2 survive with all of their rifles brought through to the next round with Nuke recovering the Spectre, but that they have full shields as well. Everybody was on 50 walking out, and that saves so much reinvestment coming into this round here.
Yeah, it means they could, in fact, maybe invest into a rifle alongside all the SMGs that they currently have. It depends how they actually want to play the bonus. Also, in terms of ultimates, there's not really going to be anything here that can actually boost them into this round, like the Bladestorm 3 away. Like, by that point, you almost look at the round and go, well, you kind of done a lot there. Do you want to invest it anyway? Now, for the other side of things, this is where we get the purchases for Sentinels, though. And likelihood is they're going to be able to take a little bit more space in this sort of round and make sure that, well, basically, they don't have too many casualties.
Well, exactly. This is the bonus round for G2. They haven't had to invest into anything bar the armor or the shields up on Coldamenta. He got dropped over as Sheriff, of course. So they'll be looking to just come out of here with a couple of scalps. You can see how passive Sentinels are taking it towards the extremities, but around middle, they are looking to get aggressive. Sick started to push down through the tube, and we saw that tenz was getting a little bit itchy to move forward as well, but they decide against it with a minute left, realizing this isn't a full B commitment, that there's still players outside the A site, and they'll just tuck in and wait to take those ranged fights.
Yeah, it almost looks like they're playing a bit more of a retake on B as well. So they have this deep control from Shazam. Of course, he is going to be able to just dash out of there, and especially after being tagged. I'm actually quite surprised he's sticking around. If Over is going to pick him off, leave a weapon in the backline, and Kellogg's has just found another onto Dapper. This bonus is looking incredible. They need tenz to go huge. Luckily for him, he is, well, I was going to say he's going to be able to dismiss, but Nuki already behind him.
Yeah, he caught him, got right up in his face as he came out and dismissed him. What was a very weak round for G2. Spectres for the most part, a Marshal and a Sheriff, and they've only lost the pistol yet again. But Zom's desperately trying to pull this one back. He'll go down, and that is the freest round for G2, because as I said, Coldamenta came in with a Sheriff. Him dying means nothing. The rest of the team get free upgrades over to your Phantoms, your Vandals. And I don't mind Shazam going out because he tried to catch really good timing. As he was being pinged up, he gets pinged the first time, and they'll think, okay, he's going to run back. He tries to swing out, obviously with the intention of, oh, I've got the dash if I need to use it up, and well, he got taken down before he could even get to his keyboard.
The only thing there is it just feels like, maybe in a buy round I'd agree. I just think it's the risk when you have a rifle that it just seemed a little bit more peculiar with G2 being able to almost just stack up against him.
Stop them getting close at the same time, though. You know, those Spectres, 3 of them come running around the corner, and the only real danger was when you're, well, should have been, when you're looking over towards the Marshal, which obviously was still able to connect in the hands of Kellogg's. It's still online as well. He's playing with the Marshal right now, and you can see that G2 are sensing a weakness. They're moving towards this A site, but Sentinels have stacked up.
Already Over looking to try and lock this off. tenz has managed to bypass the wall, but isn't able to connect the shots necessary. Mixo is actually going to walk into 2 players and completely whiffs. Luckily, Coldamenta is there with a triple. Again, looking like a relatively clean round for the side of G2's. Credits stacked up, and it's only really Zoms that can make this costly.
Yeah, with Kellogg's having the Marshal as well, he can potentially grab an upgrade to a rifle. I'm surprised he's staying way back in spawn, watching for the flank. The most important thing for me, though, but especially if Kellogg's doesn't save the rifle, any damage that Zoms can get from this point would be huge, because G2 have gotten away with near flawless rounds the whole way through, including their bonus. And if Sentinels get no damage done here, well, then you're going to be in a spot where it's going to be very hard to break G2's economy.
Yeah, of course, for Zoms. Probably just going to try and take one with him, die to the spike. There's no real value in holding on to the Sheriff, and in fact, keloqz is going to pick him off instead. So now we start looking at that ultimate economy as a little bit more deadly, because that's the thing. This is a round for G2. Well, I wouldn't be bothered if they sort of spammed their ultimates. This is the first time we're going to see what I would call a proper 4-buy for Sentinels. We know how impactful Shazam's operator can be, especially with, for example, that position earlier he was playing. If he has an operator there, he gets a kill and he dashes out. I would bet on it 99% of the time. So it's a spot now where if they can use that Hunter's Fury to get an opener, if they can maybe get the Blade Storm and almost one-trick him out of the round, that would be a huge start for them. And 5-0 on the attacking side, we know that G2's always been strong in this attack, but this would be something different, and Shazam's already dead. That was like 8 seconds in.
We talked about Shazam's operator. Obviously, keloqz has bought up his own, and now he's the only opera left on the server, for the time being at least. A man advantage for G2, claimed by Nukia, who's still walking forward, looking for more victims and finding them. The nade onto the backside, and the Hunter's Fury, it will not connect for the kill, but the nade will. That is glorious for G2. 4 versus 2, and Sick can't even get a kill on the board. Again, it's Zoms left to 1v4 retake, and oh, it doesn't look like he's going to get anything either. 4K out of Nukia. What if G2 had for breakfast this morning?
This is Sentinels playing, right? Like, I can't believe what I'm witnessing. I'm not even sure if Nuki's actually died yet. He's just been running riot. Every single aggressive player has been completely shut down. They're making the openers onto this site in particular look incredibly easy, and yeah, as I said, at the moment, this doesn't look like Sentinels.
We've had the conversation many times when it comes to the EMEA region about Nukia, about him potentially being one of the best players in the world, and you're seeing him here on the international stage. He has had one hell of a tournament so far, and the start to this map, lightning fast. Let's see what else they can do. Now, just up against the Pistols yet again, but Sentinels are starting to roll the dice and take some risks. They've pushed B, they've pushed mid, and they're seeing no one here. G2 might be about to get trapped in.
They do have the flank being watched, though. keloqz is more than aware, and with that push coming through, it might start to make them hesitate a little bit whether they continue this push, but to be honest, they're continuing to find all the openers they could possibly need. They're just ripping apart this site. It may have been a stack, it may have been a flank, but wow, G2 just get through it, no problem.
This is an unbelievable start. I mean, Sentinels are looking hard nerfed. I wouldn't be surprised if coming out of this round, you get a pause out of this defensive side team, because I don't think I've ever seen them look this weak, and that's not to say that G2 aren't doing a fantastic job, and in particular, Nukia on those openings, but for Sentinels...
2 of their players haven't died.
Exactly. Normally, they would at least connect a couple of shots, make these rounds costly, and instead a Prime Gaming Flawless comes out, and G2 already had a bunch of money. Now they are stacked with credits.
Well, keloqz is having a great time. I almost wonder if Ocelot right now is just saying, can we get that plane back in the air? Can we get it back in the air? Like, we got memed for it, we got owned for it, but I feel like it's always good to make these sort of...
He's going to be flying it himself at this rate.
Gonna be coming into the studio behind us. I'm a little bit worried. I know he's close by. You've had your nice little selfie with his nice little G2 stamp that they put on the floor.
Oh yeah, the graffitis. IRL graffitis. Well, for Sentinels, this is a full buy. Shazam with the operator yet again. And you'll notice he's not quite playing as aggressive as he did before. Maybe a little bit scared of running into Nukia. Tenz certainly should have been, because he has been shut down to start. Dapper pops off the Hunter's Fury. Very little found, but keloqz so close to death. 26 HP as he dashes on out. And they've already burned up their heals, so it's going to be a while before he gets back up to full.
Yeah, although tenz has gone down, they still have this bait and switch. You can see Sick has gone into a far more aggressive position than what we've seen before. It does seem like tenz has started to be predicted quite often now by the side of G2, but with Mixwell falling, there seems like a chance, but Nukia's just on one today. Sick, as said, he's in a prime position to do a fair amount of damage, but now the showstopper comes through and catches him on the edge of the wall, leaving just 2 men standing for the side of Sentinels.
So well played so far by G2 and a 4v2 yet again. Dapper and Zoms, we've seen it so many times, but here's a successful start. Zoms left in the 1v3. keloqz still low, but he has that operator and he has the angle. 7-0, a dominant start for the EMEA side. side, and this is not something that I think anyone would have seen coming. Shazam, having 2 operators bought up, is still to get on the board.
I feel like Tenz's stats are about to be ruined. Like, he's been averaging, I think over 300 ACS for the entirety of the tournament so far. He's also down the boat. This is weird. Like, I feel oddly uncomfortable watching G2 do this well. And not because it's like, oh, G2 hate or anything like that, but just because they're against Sentinels.
You know, we saw the adaptations. Oh, Shazam already down a couple of knives. What's he got, 2 left to work with? It's going to be a little bit tough now for him. That ultimate needs to connect a headshot to refresh. Now, what I wanted to say was G2 versus F4Q, you saw the adaptations they made.
Yeah.
They worked so hard on improving their game. And so far, it's been working out for them in this series as well. Shazam connects the Cold Dementa, though. That's the pick that they needed. He's got all the blades back up, and that's the difference maker in a round like this where they don't even have a rifle to play around.
Kellogg's already taking a lot of map control. I think Dapper will have heard him, so he's going to be wary of his flank and, oh, maybe not expecting Kellogg's to be that far forward. Sick needs to get something done, but he's going to hear the remaining players walking away. This could be a pretty big moment for him, but Mixel's in the spawn. He's just sat all the way back, just ratting it as far as he can, and now they're going to try and put some pressure onto Zons. Now, he popped his ultimate at the beginning of the round. Shazam will close out the lurk, but he needs to get something done here. Luckily, this weapon at close range, it can work.
30 seconds left as they dive on in, but they've already bypassed him. Going up above as well. The site is now theirs. The res on a Dapper might not mean much if Zoms goes down, and he will. Walking out of the Viper's pit and being dropped straight away. Man advantage no longer in their favor. Shazam wants to get the opening, but does he know that right up above is Mixwell, waiting to catch Dapper as he comes on through. There's the kill for Shazam, and Sick manages to save his life. Now they should have their first round, unless Nukia has got something to say about it, and he doesn't. Welcome to the scoreboard as Sentinels hit 1.
It took them quite a bit of time, and definitely one of the shakier rounds that we've seen for G2. Players being caught off here and there, but some solid kills coming through in the retake. And of course, well, Shazam, it didn't take too long for him to move up the scoreboard, at least a little bit on that jet.
Yeah, I mean, there weren't many... wasn't much of a lead to catch up on, let's say it that way. The fact that Mixwell, you know, a little bit too slow. He was waiting for Dapper to walk on through. He was hearing the shots out of that frenzy. And that small gap that was left open for them to walk out the door. They grab the kill to Avova. They overrun the site. That's what we needed to see from Sentinels. That was on a weak bind now, and a big difference maker was the fact that Kellogg's played so aggressive. He was starting to ego them. I mean, with 7 rounds, you can't really blame him, but now we need to see that come through again. We need to see Sentinels make it work when G2 aren't playing overconfident now that they've lost a round.
Oh, just as Shazam goes to push, he's going to be held back by a snake bite. They're doing well to deny pretty much all of the aggression of Sentinels so far. That's one of the things I've been really impressed with for G2. Now the drone, not really going to find anything, so this gives that extra space for Shazam to move a little bit further forward and cut off rotations, but this time it's looking like G2 might just pick up the pace.
It certainly does. Nukia's watching for the flank play, holding it down, but might be caught on the cross, and he'll be on his way because Sick has already been taken down, but there it is. Shazam trading it back, taking out the star player for G2 in this map so far. That could be a huge blow to the attacking side, but they have got the spike planted. Time is on their side, and as it ticks away ever faster, Sentinels need to make this B retake work. It hasn't been successful for them so far, but they haven't had this kind of weaponry in the past.
This is the Avova spot. This is one of those positions where he sticks in all the time. Tenz on a late flank, he's been spotted. They're expecting him now, but could act as a bit of a distraction. And quickly, Sentinels just dropped 3 players. It's left all onto Mixwell, and his burst through the screen is not going to achieve anything. Another solid retake from Sen. It seems like they found their footing.
This is where G2 might get a little bit worried, you know? Sentinels breathing life back into their game. Tenz activated in that little 2-piece that he found towards B long. Now you notice that G2 had the Viper's Pit online for a couple of rounds. They had the A and B side and didn't use it there to secure the round and ended up losing them subsequently. I think at this point, they're going to start to reassess this. A little bit of back and forth by the boys. Sentinels getting their chance to return. I like it. But this is where G2 need to reassess things. Still yet to see a pause come out, which I'm quite surprised considering how things have been going.
Well, for now at least. both sides still with a purchase in play. Again, they're going to be waiting outside B just for any sort of aggression, and mid, again, is going to be the main hold, at least in the early stages of the round. Maybe expecting that pace change once again from G2, like trying to go for something into mid, because most of the time it's been slow defaults, fighting the extremities, giving space to Nuke to look for our openers. He's going to be spotted by the drone. He's got to be careful, because tenz is on the hunt.
He's backing off now, but tenz seizes the space right away. Not going to pursue too far. It's over towards this B site that you start to get worried. With Zom's in position behind Yellow, he can be isolated. The cross is being watched by Shazam, but there's no way they'll go across without a Viper wall down. In fact, it looks like there's no way they'll go across at all. G2 start to relocate. Moving towards the spawn, and it looks like they want to late exec into the A site.
They're going to try and send... Well, it seemed like they were going to send Mixwell through mid. But instead, he's going to double back with the rest of the team. You can see Sentinels have the right idea. Already rotating Dapper through. The remaining players also going to make their move. And as the screen goes down, it looks to try and section the site in two. But G2, they don't have a lot of time here, and they've given Dapper a slight angle.
Oh, the Boombot gives away his position. He's being blast-packed, but somehow he's able to get a kill from that position. Still alive now as Sentinels gain the man advantage, and there's so little time left. G2 are just being poked and pressured, and by the looks of it, taken down. Avova somehow able to stay alive. He's getting the spike planted. keloqz has come in with 2, and all of a sudden, it's down to Sick. He has to clutch this one out. No idea where Avova might have gone. The wrap could be in play, and he's about to get peeked out by keloqz on the op. This is so tough. He needs an opportunity to take a duel and a close shot, but a whiff. Now as the time ticks away, Sick is taken down easily. They reposition, they relocate, and put an 8th on the board. G2 doing a fantastic job of bouncing back.
And this is a phrase I never thought I'd say, but Sentinels are being out-clutched. Like, that's what we're currently witnessing. Normally they're the team to win these 2v4s, 3v4s, 2v1s, whatever you name it. They're the ones to come out on top, and keloqz, he is on form. I mentioned him at the beginning of the series. Like, if they're going to have a good game, if they're going to be able to challenge versus the previous champions, this man needs to be on form. And, well, boy, is he on form.
Fair to say. It absolutely is. You look at that situation, I mean, there was no way in my mind that went G2's way.
No.
4v2, lockdown, 10 seconds left. They surely couldn't have gotten the spike planted, and somehow Avova maneuvers around. His timing is perfect.
He gets a kill while planting it the first time.
Absolutely. And then just about manages to evade Sick's position, his sightlines, as he moves around the side, gets the spike planted. keloqz with a double kill that stopped them from pushing down and killing Avova. Like, every piece of that puzzle came together perfectly for G2. That's the kind of round that happens 1 in 100 times.
Well, now we have to see how Sentinels are going to break back from it, because I think the last time we witnessed this map, it was an 8-4 attacking side half for G2. That was enough for them to get it over the line, even though we can sometimes see those attacking comebacks. I feel like Sentinels, at a minimum, need the 4. Like, realistically, it's still not going to be the best of halves for them, but there would still at least be a possibility. Say, for example, they lost the pistol, but at this stage, well, there hasn't been consistency from them. It was a couple of rounds, both in terms of retakes, like their actual holds of the site haven't been exactly going well. This time as well, they even had some sneaky angles behind the utility of G2, which caught G2, and they still lost it.
No, we all know highligths loves to see those retakes get started, but he hasn't seen them at all so far for Sentinels. You know, you've had those 2 rounds that came through, but losing out, I think, arguably more than we've seen them up till now.
Oh, does tenz hear the footsteps?
I think he did.
Yeah.
I think he might just about have caught them. Shazam's ready with the operator for a quick kill, and he's not even the point man on this round. He'll take first contact, but now it's all about buying time for tenz's flank. And the question is, does anyone on G2 look back towards their spawn? And for now, the answer is definitively no.
And they've also stacked up the remaining players. There's even one watching into mid just to try and hold off the flank. This is being perfectly played at the moment by Sentinels. They have them trapped, and G2 have to try and fight out. Mixwell, though, has been able to find one. And this could give them at least a little bit of space. The problem, though, is the spike is currently dropped all the way back towards tenz. So he's called for that little bit of extra support. Shazam, though, he misses his shot.
Yeah, it's going to be tagged up massively. Has to be so cautious about any future fights that he wants to take. Waiting for his teammates to rotate into position for G2.
30 seconds left.
Moving around to grab that spike's going to be pretty tough, and Nuka knows that he's about to run into a couple of players. Tenz shutting him down. A third kill for that man in this round, and that pretty much cements the save for G2. If Mixwell finds an opportunity right away, sure, maybe they go for it, but instead he runs right into the operator of Sentinels. It is 8-3.
Last round
and sure,
in the
it's
half.
been an abysmal half for Sentinels, but if they find this one, there's still hope.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's the first time we've actually seen tenz pop off as well. So that in itself could be a difference maker. Like the first time I think the G2 haven't caught him as he tried to get a little bit aggressive. We saw in a lot of the early rounds, like there was the pipes position that he just got killed, I think, 3 or 4 times
He went
in
to
a
8
row.
rounds without a kill in total this half, so that's...
It's been rough,
bizarre.
that's for sure, but the fact that he's now found that 4K, that's more of a danger to me than anything else.
Yeah, most definitely. That is 2K before. It was clean. You saw his aim get warmed up, and now coming in with 4. This is where tenz becomes revitalized. Shazam, operator in hand. This is another shot, and Zoms goes down. The B site under threat. Sick has rotated in, so Shazam, tries to get back, but he's caught on the cross. Sick left waiting in the sidelines. No res in play for them coming into this final round, and Kellogg's, he's forced back. He can't cover the plant, but we will have a Viper's Pit activated. That will buy them some space, but if Dapper can manage to find Mixwell here and grab a tag, that could have been huge. But instead, they're using it as a fake. They're running away towards the A site, just leaving Kellogg's here with a Bulldog in hand. He's going to try to shut these guys down.
Oh, this is just the biggest bait of all time.
They've actually watched in mid as well. They think that there's going to be players. The only problem here could be that they actually get caught from behind. Nuclear, he's going back! tenz is like, I must be going towards the B site. Sentinels are completely lost in this round, and now he's going to go running through the spawn, and Nuclear's just waiting for him. This is glorious from G2, leaving just Dapper standing to try and pull off a ludicrous clutch.
And he will not even get a moment to think about that. Mixwell shutting him down, 3rd kill of the round, and it's 9-3. Sentinels completely blindsided, assuming that it was about to be a mid-split into the B site, and they found out the hard way that it certainly wasn't.
No, I actually can't believe what we've just witnessed in this half. It's one of those matches where you think that realistically it's going to be back and forth, and sure, G2 managed to take it last time, but, well, we got another half to go, I guess.
Yes, we do, and you know what? I think Sentinels are going to need a breather after that one. Maybe we do too. Let's toss it over to the desk to get some of their opinions on how this one's been going.
Thank you very much, gents. It's looking mighty familiar to the last time around, and in fact, G2 will just do us one better there, Doug. A 9-3 half compared to an 8-4 the last time they were on the attacking side of ICEBOX against Sentinels.
Almost like there's like a glitch in the Matrix, right? It's like we've been here before, but you're right, just slightly better.
They got the script from the other day and they mixed it up with the one that was supposed to be for today's games.
And then somebody came running on stage like, you can't repeat it. You got to do something different.
Our producer's going to be like, okay, guys, just come on, pretend. Like, we've got to...
Just eke out one more. But I love the way in which it's happening so far, Doug, because it's very much the way we were hoping it would. And in fact, this is our Verizon high-speed moment of the day because it comes from Nuclear. It's 7 rounds straight for G2. Him leading the charge with kind of speed and aggression we thought would be the difference maker.
Well, and we talked about how for G2 it kind of feels like their win condition has to be momentum. They win the bonus in the first half. They're able to rattle that off to a 7-0 start. And Nuclear, 7-0-3 by round 6. He had tenz number on A for what felt like an eternity.
And it also just really felt like G2 had so much vigilance in this first half of the game, you know? Like, even all the way back to round number 2 on their anti-eco, they had really good positions to watch for a flank that would come in from Sentinels, which they did try to do, not very successfully. Every time they tried to burst into the A site, there was always so much support on what it was that Nuclear was doing. You had Kellogg's kind of coming up from behind, Nuclear going in at the front. You know, there were a couple of moments like Dapper managing to survive behind that Viper's wall.
What the heck was that?
I don't really know what that was. And I think once Sentinels actually started to get a handle on their economy, that's where they put in a couple of rounds. We saw tenz have a couple of good rounds, but for the most part, the vigilance from G2 was incredibly good.
But now, Doug, it's about wrapping it up, right? You can't rest on your laurels. You still got to get 4 more rounds to bring you to 13 and take it. Do you think they can wrap it up in clean fashion here on the back half?
I do, but it's going to have to be clean, right? Like, Like, you can't afford any mistakes. You give Sentinels an inch, they'll take the whole damn mile.
All right, don't give them any breathing room, G2, if you want to take this map number 1. Mitch and Tom, right back to you to get us into the action.
Well, we're ready to jump back into half number 2, and let's hope that there's plenty for Sentinels to do. They have 3 rounds on the board coming out of the first, and you know what? We talk a lot about the 9-3 curse. Maybe G2 have done themselves in on this one.
Yeah, Vancilli has been trying his best.
Yep.
He's been praying to anyone he can to try and get Sentinels back into this map. So we'll see. Maybe he has managed to jinx G2, in which case, well, just get him. Maybe if that's the case.
Get after him.
You might be ruining our series at that point.
Well, Pistol certainly hasn't started out poorly. They've managed to take down tenz yet again, shutting him down in the early half of the previous map and doing just the same here in the Pistol. Sentinels are gearing up for a B take. Their wall is going to be going up in just a second. There you go. Yeah, the poison orb fades. They pop up their wall. They close in the distance. And now it's popped that wall up to get a plant. Oh, Sick is going all the way through. Of course, he doesn't have the ice wall to play with, so they need to be a bit more aggressive than you'd normally expect. And it works out to take Nuke down, but the shock dart returns the kill.
Still behind the screen. I think Mixwell has expected them to be a little bit further forward, so just waiting for the screen to go down to give them that little bit of extra space, they'll pop theirs back up. But it seems like G2 at the moment is still just looking back towards the A side, just in case there's been that fallout, that fallback. But it's still going to be a pretty awkward spot. One being spotted will allow Kellogg's to try and reposition and take the battle, but Shazam has taken out Mixwell.
That's huge. Viper utility for retake taken out, but so is Shazam. It keeps on trading back in G2's favor. Sentinels need a big play, and with Zombs on 2 health, he's going to struggle to get anything done. Sick has to be the clutch man of the round. A 1v2, 10 seconds left, and very little that he can get done. Double digits hit by G2 as they hit 10-3.
I can't believe what I'm watching. We have literally gone for a team not losing a single map at the last LAN event to potentially losing back-to-back ICEBOXes versus G2, and in a fashion that we never expected.
And you know what, Kellogg's, a player that we highlighted to start this out, we said, you know, his battle versus tenz, maybe even his battle versus Shazam. He's got 18 kills coming out of that pistol round. That is phenomenal. And for a young player who had a lot of question marks around his name coming into this event, coming into this team, in fact, before we even get to Masters, he is delivering exactly what everybody hoped he would.
Sure, and in fact, we're actually going to see a force spike coming out of Sen. I think they've realized that at this stage of the map, they need to get in and they need to get back into it now. A fast push coming in on towards the A side. Spike actually leading the charge. It could be dropped, but instead, Sick will win himself the duel.
A lot bought up for Sentinels, and they're looking to get the value out of it. Plant coming through. Evolva has the flank, but it's being watched. tenz not able to connect Evolva, even predicting the position correctly. Dapper up above will be slowed down, and Nuke is picking up doubles on the site. This is falling apart for Sentinels, an absolute disaster. Zombs tries to step it up, but he's so low he'll be dealt with easily, as will Dapper, and this is 11 for G2. Despite investment coming out of Sentinels, they get nothing done again. A spike plant, but at 11-3, that does not matter.
No, G2 are looking very composed. I think this is one of the things that we have to talk about when this roster, if you go back to even the early challenges before we even get to EMEA, there were moments where they looked like they were in the driver's seat and they crumbled. They would give away duels. They would lose fights in certain positions and rounds would slip away from them. Instead, they lose the opening pick here. Do they panic? Do they like make aggressive mistakes? No. They look like they come back in as a unit and well, it was a perfect retake. They only lost 1 man after that point.
You know what? It's pretty easy to be comfortable when you're 10-3 up, and now 11-3 kind of only gets worse. Look at what Sentinels have to play with in this round. They've gone for another full buy. Of course they have, but it's with Spectres, a Guardian, and another Spectre on Zombs. It's a little bit shaky, to say the least. They're going to try to isolate these close-range angles on the A side. There are Viper walls absolutely everywhere, but that gives Sentinels the ability to close in on the site.
Yeah, their weaponry does slightly favor them over what we're currently seeing with no ultimates online. If Kellogg's maybe gets himself a kill, well, they actually know he's picked up the orb, so he will have his Blade Storm. It's going to be down to that battle of the flank. If he falls, I feel like this round looks very unlikely, but if he can get rid of Dapper, there's a good chance.
Still no plan, just a constant harassment of utility coming towards Sentinels. They managed to trade it back and keep the man advantage out of the hands of G2, but only for a moment. Shazam, the last alive, hunted down by Kellogg's to put it 12-3. This is an absolute disaster of a map to kick off the series for Sentinels. Zoms, I mean, you can't even point at him. The whole team has been struggling, and I think that guy had to retake the A site like the first 6 rounds, 7 rounds in a row. He was in a 1v4, so I'm not even going to go there. The reality is G2 are just playing a better game. They're outclassing Sentinels on ICEBOX.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It sets us up for a series and a half, that's for sure, with Sentinels having to fight from a deficit. For now, at least, they're looking for a streak of 9 rounds in a row. I can't say I'm feeling too confident in it. They have managed to spot out Kellogg's in a pretty audacious spot. The ice will use to give him the boost over the top, and he's not going to be able to find the early pick. Sick will also get his res online, so at least an ultimate to play with. And actually, Shazam, if he can get the one on the other side, he'll be looking at his Blade Storm.
Well, it starts out poorly with Dapper going down. That operator on range taking the kill. Mixwell might just have heard the drop. There's the distraction shot as he swings out wide. Sick is down. And, you know, okay, they might walk into the A site completely open if they go quick enough, but G2 have a 2-man advantage. They don't care about allowing a site take. They'll play the retake every day of the week.
They can afford to let this one go. Not really wanting to take anything too risky at this stage. A chance for what will be the biggest victory versus Sentinels on LAN on a map. Didn't have to think about that one for long, because they've only lost one other map. For now, though, Shazam looking to try and change that, but the trades come back so thick and so fast. It's left all onto tenz. He's giving it a damn good go, but down to 24 HP. He will heal up, and maybe he can keep them in it. It's him versus Kellogg's, the operator facing off against the Guardian, and Kellogg's will close it. A phenomenal map for G2 as they win 13-3.
What an incredible start to this series. G2 came up against F4Q and they had completely shifted their playstyle. They had looked at everything that they could possibly do to improve, and they had even surpassed any expectation that I had. And coming into this series, we're seeing the same thing again. A phenomenal map, not just for G2 though, for Kellogg's. We talk about this young guy, we talk about the pressure he's under, and he finishes with a pretty good combat score.
300